r/AskReddit.
What took you an embarrassing amount of time to figure out?
A response to the post.
My French press. I owned one 9 months before I realized the coffee grounds go under the plunger and not on top of it. I was always so annoyed having to clean the top of the plunger after lowering the coffee into the water. My girlfriend stared at me like I was the stupidest person she'd ever met trying to formulate how to politely fix this.
A response to this comment.
How did you keep the grounds out of your mug of coffee?
A response to the post.
When I was a kid back in the early 90s, I was obsessed with WWF wrestling. It didn't hit me until years later that The Undertaker's manager's name, Paul Bearer, wasn't his real name.
A response to the post.
That I wasn't, in fact, the family member that best washes the dishes. Yes, I'm the youngest.
A response to the post.
When I was like 5, my dad would constantly make the following joke. He'd put his hand on my head and squeeze lightly a couple times while saying I'm a brainsucker. What am I doing? After a quick pause, he'd follow up with the punchline starving. But he always stretched out the pronunciation for the word so it sounded to me like star-ving. For years I thought it was a lame joke where the punchline somehow referred to the fact that brainsuckers were aliens and came from the stars or something like that. I was sitting in class one day and I must have been 10 to 12 years old before I realized he's calling me dumb. The joke is that I don't have a brain, so the brainsucker is starving. I was at least smart enough to never tell him this, because I'd never live it down if he knew it took me 5 years to figure out the joke.
A response to this comment.
If I were the dad, I would want to know that I was right.
A response to the post.
When I was younger, I had no idea that New York and Newark were two different places. I kept thinking people saying Newark were trying to say New York, but had a speech impediment or accent, or just didn't know how to pronounce it.
A response to this comment.
It's particularly confusing when you're on a train that stops in both Newark and New York and the employee you ask has a heavy foreign accent. Wait, are you saying the next stop is Newark or New York?
A response to the post.
That the saying is nip it in the bud, not butt.
A response to this comment.
Horticulture, BB.
A response to the post.
I didn't realize until my late teens/early 20s that chemical castration means taking pills which render you infertile, not necessarily dipping someone's balls in a vat of acid. Yay, this one is pretty embarrassing.
A response to this comment.
I feel so dumb. Always cringed when I heard chemical castration. I will sleep well tonight, knowing the truth.